Hi, so in this video, I'll go over a few problems for week 2 discussion forum. So remember that's for week 2 skill discussion forum. Every week we have the skill forum with the first post due by Wednesday. So make sure you respond to the problem by Wednesday. And then participation on 3 days required. So the same thing, make sure that you log in and then post something to your fellow classmates at least on 3 different days. You can do that on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, or you can do it on, for example, Tuesday, Wednesday, and maybe Friday. Okay, and make sure that you have 4 replies for the whole week. Okay, so again, pick one problem from the list here and then solve the detail of your works. You can post the answer by just typing the equation directly on the reply here, or you can attach a picture of your detailed solutions. Now for this week 2, we are learning about the radical equation, which involves the square root, the 4 equation, how to solve the 4-degree equation by substitution, the absolute value equation. Now we are trying to solve for x. That means we are trying to find the value of x that makes both sides of the equation to be true. Now I have a few problems that are similar to this problem here, and hopefully it will help you to have a good discussion for this week. Okay, so let's go over a few problems I have now. Okay, the very first problem I have here, again, we are trying to solve the equation. So just solve for x. So x equal 5 and then radical of x. Okay, so now we are trying to solve for x, but remember both sides here we have x and radical x, and make sure that if you want to combine the like term, they have to be in the same variable. This one has the radical, which is to the power of 1/2. This one has the power of 1, so we cannot combine them together. Now in order to solve for the radical, remember, if you square a radical, you undo the radical. So let's say if I square both sides of this equation, now the left hand side now become x squared. The radical when you square is gone, right? 5 squared 25, 25 and x. Okay, now in order to solve for x, right, because we are trying to solve the equation, that means we are trying to look for x. So I have x and x on both sides, so let's go ahead and divide by x. Now if you are dividing by a variable and this variable can be a 0, which is undefined, so make sure that at the end you must check your solution to make sure that your solution that you get is the correct one if you are dividing by a variable. So I cancel x here, and x give me x, take away the second power and take away x, so x equals 25. Now this is the solution that we get from here, but we have to check the solution because in this step here we are dividing by a variable, and a variable can contain a 0. If you divide by 0, you have undefined solution. So let's now check the solution of 25. So my original equation is what? X equals 5 radical of x. I have the solution of x to be 25, so I plug in 25 for x, right? And then I have 5, and I have radical x, which is 25. So let's see if they are equal or not. Now radical of square root of 25 is 5. 5 times 5, yes, 5 times 5 25. So 25 is the true solution. So in this case, yes, x equal 25 is your solution. Okay, let's go over the second example. X to the 4 power minus 5x squared plus 6 equals 0. Okay, in this problem, we have the polynomial with the degree of 4. So if you have the degree of 4, you are expecting to get 4 solutions to this equation. Now, we only learn how to solve the second degree polynomial or the quadratic equation by quadratic formula factoring, but we didn't really learn how to solve the 4 power. Now, in this case, we can apply a trick here by substitution. So if you see x to the 4 for the leading the leading term, and then you have something with x squared. Now you can rewrite this one x4 as x squared to the x squared, because square give you 4 minus 5x squared plus 6 equals 0. Now if you rewrite in this way, then we can apply a trick by letting x squared to be u. So we use something called the substitution method. We sub u to be x squared. We let u to be x squared. Now x squared now become u, so I have u squared because x squared is u, and we have the square outside, so u squared minus 5 x squared is also u plus 6. Okay, so now we are able to reduce the problem from the 4 power to the second power or quadratic equation. And yes, we learned a lot of ways to solve the quadratic equation, and I can do this maybe by factoring. Now my variable is just u, so I identify two different numbers. When I multiply, I get plus 6. When I add them together, I get minus 5 by factoring. So it looks like to me that minus 3 and minus 2 they are the correct factors that I need, because minus 3 times minus 2 is plus 6. Minus 3 plus minus 2 is minus 5. Okay, so we are using the zero property here. Two things multiplied equal to 0, so that means each of them must be a 0, right? So I can solve for u by adding 3 on both sides. I can get u equal 3, and this one is u equal 2. Okay, but remember, originally we are trying to solve for x, not u. Once you get the value of u, now let's sub u equal x squared back here. So u is x squared, so x squared equal 3. The same thing to here, u is also x squared equal 2. Now using the radical property, x squared equal 3, that means x equal plus or minus radical of 3. And also x squared equal 2, that means x equal plus or minus radical of 2. So in general, we have 4 solutions to this equation. One is the radical 3, minus radical 3, and radical 2, and minus radical 2. And these are the solution to this required equation. And yes, we are expecting to have 4 solutions to the 4 power. Okay, let's go over another example, solving radical equation. So this is the example 3. I want to solve this equation. Radical of x equal 1 minus x. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me see. Oh, okay. No, not this problem. X plus radical x equal 2. Okay, so we are trying to solve for x, but again in this case we cannot really combine x and radical x together. And now whenever you see the radical x, you always try to eliminate the square root, and we can eliminate that by square the radical, because if you square radical, the radical is gone. Now that means that we need to isolate the x to the right hand side. So I minus x here. So I have radical by itself on the left hand side. 2 minus x. Now I'm able to square that, because if I square that, I got x because the radical is gone. Now using the formula a minus b square equal a square minus 2 times ab plus b square. So 2 square is 4 minus 2 times ab and then plus b square. And if I simplify this, I get x equal 4 minus 4x plus x squared. And where this comes down to the problem of quadratic equation. So I go ahead and move x to the right hand side, and I want the 0 on the left hand side. So minus x here, minus x here, I got what? X squared minus 4 minus x minus 5x and plus 4. And this side is 0. Okay, and now it's the time for us to use a factoring method. So let's see, we are trying to factor this one. This is x and x. We are looking for two numbers. When I multiply, I want to be 4. When I add them, I want to be minus 5. So it looks like to me minus 4 and minus 1 are the correct one, because minus 4 times minus 1 is plus 4. Minus 4 plus minus 1 is minus 5. So using the zero factor property, you set each of them equal to 0 and then solve for x. So you add 4 to both sides. I end up with x equal 4, and then add 1 on both sides. I end up with x equal 1. Okay. Now solving, whenever you are trying to solve any radical equation, if you square both sides of the radical, we are creating extraneous solution to the final answers. So whenever you are squaring something on both sides of the radical, the final answer, we must check the answers, because not all of them are the true solution of your original problem. So the final step is for checking. So if I plug in 4 to here, I have 4 plus radical 4, which is 2. Square root of 4 is 2. That's equal to 4 plus 2 is 6, and 6 equal 2. There's no way. So this is not the true solution. How about 1? 1 plus radical 1 is also 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2. So yes, your true answer is x equal 1. Okay, so you are solving radical equation by squaring both sides. Make sure check your final answers. Alright, we have another 2 more problems, and the last 2 problems I have here are about the absolute value equation. So let's take a look at this example. 2x plus 4 equals 7. Okay, so just trying to solve for the absolute value equation. Again, absolute value equation always have 2 answers. One is positive, one is negative. So we just have to set this one, take away the absolute value, is positive 7 or is negative 7. And then from here, we just solve the equation as normally we did before, right? So subtract 4 on both sides. I have 2x equal 3, and then dividing by 2 on both sides, or x equal 3 half. The same thing here, minus 4 on both sides. I have 2x equal minus 11, and then dividing by 2 on both sides, or x equal minus 11 over 2. And these are the 2 solutions. Okay. So whenever you are trying to solve the absolute value equation, just take away the absolute value side, and then set this equal to a positive and a negative number, and then solve for x as usual. Okay, the last example is also absolute value equation. So 3 plus 2x minus 5 equal 18. Now, the absolute value expression is here. So the first thing is you need to move everything to the right hand side. So 3x plus 2x, 3 plus 2x plus 5 on both sides, that equal to 23. Now we end up with the absolute value equation. So we can set two cases. One is a positive k, the other one is the negative k. And then solve for x. So subtract 3 on the top, I got 2x equal 20, and then dividing by 2, I end up with x to be 10. And then the other one, I also subtract 3 here, subtract 3 here, I got 2x equal minus 26, and dividing by 2, I end up with x equal minus 26 divided by 2, that's it, minus 13. Alright, so we have two different answers here. One is 10 and one is minus 13 for this example. So make sure that if you are trying to solve any absolute value equation, make sure that it has the form of absolute value of a equal b, right, or x equal b. So x is equal b or x equal minus b. That means I have to move everything to the right hand side. Make sure the left hand side has only the absolute side. Alright, so thanks for watching this tutorial, and I hope that your week 2 discussion will be pretty good for you guys.